Hey everyone, this is NJ here, the host of the NJ podcast, and welcome back to another episode in the conversation series where we talk with people from all walks of life. I believe that everybody has a story to share and a message to share and a story to tell. And remember, the theme of this show is that success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. That means you're going after what you've always wanted to go after because it's aligned with your highest values, and that's the only way for you to truly live an inspired and a fulfilled life. And on the show today, finally, I was able to make this happen. You know, some scheduling issues, you know how things go. I've got a guy I've known for first met you 2016, eh?
Yeah, 2016.
2016,
yeah.
I think it was like Humor Corner or whatever Corner was. That's the first time I saw you there.
Yeah.
So he's a comedian, he's an author, he's a philanthropist, the work that he does through the Bono Foundation. He's an academic, he's a student. You're still a student of Wits?
No. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm done for now.
You're done for now. You're not going to do a rocket science degree or...
No, we'll see.
We'll see. So he's an author of 2 books. Today is to Do, and Today is to Excel. And he's a very passionate man in the realms of public speaking and comedy. And also he's a man of faith as well. But more importantly, the bond we share is that of pain. We support the most useless team on earth right now, Chelsea Football Club. That's right. I said the Chelsea Football Club. And right. So that is Ntsundeni Ndou. Welcome back. Welcome to the show, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such an honor and privilege to be here. That's what you said, a podcast, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful to be here.
Okay.
Finally.
Oh, good. Finally. Yeah. So just take us through. I want to start at when we met in the Toastmasters. What was that convention called?
I forgot even the name of the
HumorCon or something
convention.
Like whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's in 2016.
It was in 2016.
Yes.
So 2016, you were like, were you still in high school or you in varsity already?
I was in varsity.
You were in varsity already.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So then you gave the speech that murders me still to this day. Black magic. And the reason I really resonated with that speech is because my father, who's now late, was a traditionalist. You couldn't tell me anything. Ancestors, and that's what it was on. And then I related to that because he always used to talk about this whole thing of black magic and people cursing him and bewitching him and all that stuff. So do you mind just telling us just how you got to that entire speech and why the entire thing of responsibility is so important?
Yeah. So context here, we were part of Toastmasters organization, Toastmasters International, and they were having a humorous speech competition that was in 2016.
Yeah.
I think firstly I joined Toastmasters in 2015.
Sure.
And when I joined Toastmasters, there was a humorous speech contest.
Yeah.
And then I wrote that speech, by the way. But my admin was not in order.
Oh, okay.
I actually won the club contest, and then I was ready to compete in the area level, only to find out that I was not ready.
Okay.
And then I had to use it the following year, in 2016.
Sure.
So the speech, Black Magic, that was the title of the speech.
Yeah.
And the thing about how I thought about that speech was that is a lived experience of where I come from. That where
tell the people where you come
from. Okay, I come from Venda.
First of all, that's a lie. That's a lie because Venda doesn't exist. Like it's no.
Come on, guys. No, Venda is a place. Venda is a really beautiful place. It's a good place, nice place there.
Yeah.
And I know that when I say I come from Venda, a lot of the times people come with stereotypes.
Sure.
So that's what happens when you come to Joburg from Venda, and then people already have got different stereotypes, right?
Sure.
So one of them is that Venda guys are gifted. I don't know about that, but that's one of the stereotypes that people come with.
Sure.
They also come with a dark complexion stereotype, which I accept personally. I don't know about any other. I'm speaking for myself. I accept,
I was actually shocked when I was in Toyando. Limpopo area because Venda's it's nowhere on the map. Right? I'm joking. Let me just say Venda. And I thought that yellow bones do not exist in that area. And then when I saw them, I'm like, how?
They are yellow bones in Venda. Proper yellow bones. Yeah. but I'm the yellow bone in my family.
Oh, yeah.
So it depends. Yeah, it depends on where you are.
Sure.
But so there are all those kind of stereotypes. But one of the biggest one that people have about Venda people is the black magic.
Sure.
They say there's lightning and all of that being manufactured in that side. I'm not sure about that, but it's not something that is coming out of nothing. It's also through my lived experience.
Sure.
I've seen people who blame witchcraft for like almost everything. Like where I come from, it's quite normal. If you're not doing well, it's witchcraft. School, you fail, witchcraft. Chelsea, witchcraft. It's witchcraft. In soccer, when we used to play, you can't just lose a match and you say it's because of my skills, whatever, coaching. No, the opponent is using Muti. So that's where the whole idea came from, to say, I need to address this. We are not witchcraft people. Maybe there is a little bit of witchcraft there, but we don't own the witchcraft.
You don't own the witchcraft,
because it's not only failure that is attributed to witchcraft. Sometimes also success. Because people can say, okay, he's doing well, but hey, there has to be something.
There has to be a snake or something.
There has to be a snake or something. So I wanted to drive that point home, to say both looking at failure or success. Witchcraft might be there, but we must not just look at it and attribute everything to witchcraft. Sometimes if it's failure, we need to analyze what are the causes outside of witchcraft. And even if it's success, we need to be able to celebrate and look at other things that have contributed to that success, So even if you are not sure, I didn't win that that competition because of black magic. I worked on the craft.
No, I was there and I watched and I was like, okay, this you won just by pure skill and working out. However, some people who are haters will be like, you see, he used witchcraft and now
it worked for him.
It worked for him. And he's from Venda, so there we go. And then also, like, what was the psychology? I think you wore all black, like
because whatever you do, especially as if you are a public speaker, a comedian, a performer, you need to be intentional about whatever you do. So because people start to see you just from how you look, and they already make certain conclusions, and they make certain perceptions. So I was ready for that speech. The attire had to be black because I'm talking about black magic. So all the way, I needed to have my broom as well. I brought a broom. I remember my sister actually helped me to buy it somewhere in downtown. I was a student and I was quite afraid of going downtown.
Downtown Joburg CBD.
That time I was afraid because I had a bad experience.
What happened to you there?
Well, I was once mugged. Well, that happens to everyone.
Welcome to South Africa.
That happens to everyone. I was once mugged in downtown Johannesburg. So during that time I was still a little bit scared that history might repeat itself. Okay, no, that's fine. You should have just gone back to Venda, got yourself some muti, and then you would have been fine. So then, on your own personal experience, have you gone through something where you at that time were like, this has to be some supernatural force here, and then did you get to a point of saying, no, there must be some other reason, or were you like convinced Vele that this is a something of black magic? Yeah, I mean, there are instances in life where you're like, okay, maybe, maybe let's not undermine the power that this thing might have. So I remember when I passed high school, I was one of the top students in the country.
Did actually, you get like a 95% average or something like that?
97.
90, like you see, black man.
So I was a top student in my province, Limpopo, top student in quintile 2 schools in South Africa, right? And then I came to Joburg to study chemical engineering at Wits, right? And when I came to Wits, first semester, vets started to undermine me.
Okay, undermine you how?
The marks I was getting were not the marks I was used to getting. Yeah.
Now you go from like having like 90s to like what?
Yeah.
80s, 70s.
There was 70s, but there was one particular course which I was struggling with. It was called process, right? So I remember I even failed one of the tests.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was called Introduction to Process and Materials Engineering. To me, it was also Introduction to Failure, Anxiety, and those kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So I remember one of the tests, I got 18%.
18?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was 18 at the time.
18.
Yeah, God is quite poetic, eh? I asked myself, is this my mark or is this the age? Yeah. And it was those times where like you have notice board and you see your mark. Yeah. You see somebody's 98, they were like, no,
something is wrong.
This is a mark.
This is a mark.
Yeah, there's no way. So you start to think, to say, what is it that I'm doing wrong, right? What is it that I'm doing wrong? And you find that you're not necessarily playing, you are studying, whatever. So you can have thoughts, about witchcraft. But for me, I think my strong basis in terms of Christianity and faith in God, I've always believed, and whenever those thoughts come through to say witchcraft, wara, I immediately just
you cancel them out.
Look at something. Yeah. So I think that was one time where it was like, hey, maybe. Yeah. But then there were also stories, of how I have been bewitched. Because like when you do well, especially where I come from, people will come up with conspiracies. They say people who have done well, they are now crazy. How does
that make sense?
If you do you're crazy. No, if you do well at school, they bewitch you and you become crazy.
You're right.
Yeah.
I've heard something like that. My aunt, I want to say my aunt, like, as black people, everyone's your aunt. So, so let's say a relative of mine, we're touching on this topic of witchcraft. I'm asking, I'm like, is this thing actually real? And then she was saying in Soweto, some of the people who are beggars and like they look mentally insane. It's like she says these people were once really, really intelligent people, like killing it in school. And then someone says, let me borrow your book.
Yeah.
Take your book and they do whatever. And they give it back, you read it, and now you can't comprehend. Now you're on the side of the street. I got it. Like, is that it?
Yeah, that's something that I've heard of. I've seen people on the streets and people are like, oh, this person was good. And then it's just witchcraft, right? Yeah. And some people are even afraid of doing well in life because they're gonna be bewitched. Yeah. They're like, no, I want to do well, but I don't want to do too well. It must just be well, but not too well. Because if I do too well, now somebody will bewitch me, right? As an example, some people, when they building a house, right? Obviously you start with a plan and everything, and then so you buy bricks or you buy sand, and then trees start growing. Like you take your time. You don't want to build everything at once, even when you have the money. Because phase it out because take 10 years for you to build because a month. Because if you do it in a month, people are coming for you. If you do it in a month, people are coming for you. So there are people who are actually scared of that, right? And for me, I think it's quite it's a mindset thing, right? And we can't. We cannot undermine the impact of spiritual forces in our lives, 100%. And also things like risk and chance and luck, all of those things, we cannot undermine them because they do absolutely affect our lives, right? But if we focus on them and put them as the first thing or as the most important determinant of whatever outcome that we want to achieve, then it takes away the power that we have within us to make the changes in our lives. So I have always been I'm doing as well as I can. If somebody can bewitch me, well, that happens, but I'm not afraid. I'm actually not afraid of
because you believe. Like I've seen some of your personal work that you do in the church, right? So you believe that ultimately, if someone bewitches me, God allows it.
Yeah,
and if God's not going to allow, if God says, it's like a Job thing. It's like a Job thing.
Yeah, it's not going to happen to me. Yeah. So, but I'm not saying this if you are listening and you're good at witchcraft. I'm not saying try, because some people might like, hey, okay, this guy is too confident. Let us. No, I'm not saying.
Life is hard enough.
So yeah, for me that has always been my thing to say. Look at what is within your control. If you are doing well, focus on doing well. Analyze things objectively. And I believe that if you don't want to do well because you are afraid of being bewitched, maybe you have already been bewitched.
That is bars. That is bars. that is powerful. Say it again for the people so they can get that. Yeah, say it again.
If you are afraid of doing well because you're scared of being bewitched, then maybe you are probably already bewitched.
Yeah, okay. So if someone, so you've talked about that, people are afraid to do well because they're afraid of being bewitched. It's the first time I've heard of it. Not necessarily heard of it, but it's the first time someone has actually said it outright. But like you see it in people's behaviors. They hold themselves back. Maybe now I need to go and think about my life. Like, why am I not doing 100% well? Maybe I'm afraid that someone is going to come bewitch me. So if, let's say I have that complex, let's say I don't want to do too well because I'm afraid people are going to look at me and then they're going to go to whoever, they're going to go to Toyando, they're going to go to wherever, or Mozambique, or wherever, and then they're going to get whatever muti to bewitch me. What do you say to a person like that? It's like, I want to do well, but I'm afraid I'm going to be bewitched. So like, how do I overcome that from your advice?
Yeah, so for me, the thing is where you are or the kind of life, if you settle for where you are because of the fear of what might come and the consequences of what you might achieve will come with, then you are not prepared for the greatness that is within you, right? Because that means you are settling at a level of mediocrity wherein you are just doing normal or fine, and you don't want to step into greatness. And obviously when you step into greatness, challenges will come, and you need to be that kind of a person who is ready to face whatever challenge that can come, whether it is a spiritual, financial, whatever challenge that can come. But if you want to step into greatness, you need to be ready for whatever that may come, right? But for you, be focused on what you want to achieve, right? Because it doesn't take you anywhere, just you protecting, because it's like you are protecting nothing. If that makes sense, right? Just like what I have is fine, but you're protecting it. You don't want to lose it, but then you could achieve more.
That's very true. That's very powerful. So sometimes do people with that mindset, are they just lazy? Maybe sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, or are they just lazy and they're using going to be bewitched as an excuse?
Well, I don't want to really put lazy. Because really there are people in certain communities where it's a belief, it's a mindset, it's something that they have been indoctrinated with it, and it needs to be shifted, right? Because sometimes laziness comes out of that, where you say, okay, I don't have the word in English, but in my home language, I say suyafana, right? It's the same, right? Even if I work hard, somebody's going to someone will bewitch me, right? So we cannot for sure say that hard work is not there or that person is lazy, but because of the mindset, you're like, let me just chill, because even if I work hard, you know, it's not going to happen. And maybe you see examples of other people who have been unfortunate, because every unfortunate event is attributed to witchcraft, right? So you see somebody, they have graduated, but they don't have a job. You say, you see?
It's witchcraft. Or maybe they studied something that there's no demand for, but they don't want to look at that.
Yeah, they won't look at that. So that's the thing.
Yeah. So so you being a top achiever in academia, varsity, being an author, what is that thing that drives you to do so well there? Is it a mixture of you being gifted and working hard, or was that the fact that you're just like academically gifted and they're just able to fly through things, or did you work hard and persevere? Like, what is that thing that drives you, okay, to become a top student, to become an author and all that? So what's that driving force for you?
Yeah, I think firstly we must acknowledge that success can be a combination of multiple factors, right?
Sure.
And most of the times when we analyze, we usually look at one thing. You say, oh, genius, laziness, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a combination of multiple things, right? If we can summarize it, maybe we can look at for me, I can't call it genius or I would say divine intervention, because it's what God has entrusted you, right? And you can call it grace, right? And for me, I think that's quite an important attribute or component of success, right? But you cannot undermine grit. You cannot undermine grit. For me, you need to work hard. There's a famous quote that everyone probably knows, that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? And the thing is, usually when people look at success and analyze it, they are looking at achievement the day when you are crowned, the day when you win, to say, this is the champion, oh, this is the best student, this is the best employee, entrepreneur of the year, whatever. That's what people are saying, right? And that's achievement. But there's a difference between achievement and success.
Okay, what's the difference?
Achievement is what you see on the day of recognition. Right?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
But success is the sum of the small steps that you take day in, day out.
That's very good.
So for you to be seen achieving something, then on a daily basis, there need to be certain steps that you're doing, right? Let me take an academic example. Right. So as a student, I was very diligent. And my thing was simple. It was not magical. It was just to say, every day I must study.
Every day you must study. Okay.
Every day I must study. And it sounds to be boring, because people look at complex things that are complicated, to say, okay, what's the plan? Where do we go from here? No, just study every day, right? And as I built that muscle, I was studying every day. Some days maybe I will study for 30 minutes, but every day I will read something. If I don't read something, then I'm doing a maths problem, right? But there's something that I'm doing each and every day. That's the muscle that you build. And as you do your classworks, as you do your homeworks, those things are quite important, right? Every day, do your homework, right? There's a quote that I love saying, to say, I took my classworks like exam, and in return, exam was like classwork to me.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Say that again. This guy's dropping bars here.
You'll be pressing the whole show.
Say that again.
Yeah. So I used to take classwork like exam, and in return, exam was like classwork.
Wow.
Right. So I think grit is quite an important thing, right? It's quite fundamental. You need to work hard. And the thing is, there's a certain level of success that you can achieve based on your natural abilities. But natural ability can only take you so far, right? But for you to be at a level of greatness, it doesn't matter which arena that you are playing in, whether you are an athlete, you are an artist, you need to do the work. You need to do your homework, because your homework is the thing that hones your talent. There's a lot, I'm sure there's quite a lot of work that you do behind this podcast, as an example, right? So you come here and you record, maybe you only see this, but there's quite a lot of work that is done in the background.
100%.
But people can see this one day and they say, wow, this is beautiful, this is genius. That's what people are seeing, but they are not exposed to what is happening behind the scenes. And for me, that's quite important. I don't know if I've answered your question.
No, you have. No, you have. But dropping bars along the way. So then it's that hard work, it's that perseverance. Was there ever a time where you saw someone or a group of people living a very, very, I'm afraid of saying this, but I'm going to say a poor life. When I say poor, like financially poor, they're not reaching their potential, they're failing school. Have you ever seen a situation like that and you will be like, that's not going to be me?
No, I've seen a number of, I mean, where I come from, I come from poverty. I come from an area where people are dropping out of high school. They're not even going to varsity. It's not a lot of people who are going to varsity. I come from an area where people are not taking education seriously. So I have seen all of those things, right? And from a young age, I've always said that I've always wanted to do well for myself. So maybe that's one of the things that I've really pushed me.
So when you say you wanted to do well for yourself, why did you want to do well for yourself?
That's a tough question, right? Because even now, right? And maybe the way to answer it, even now, the kind of person that I am, I find excellence to be synonymous with success, right? So that is my success.
That's your thing.
If I am doing well in a thing, I feel successful. So if I'm writing a book, I want to write a very well written book, right? That's the thing, right? And for me, I usually define what I need to do by doing well where I am at, right? That's why if I'm at school, I want to do well in my class. I want to be someone who is taking their studies very seriously. If I'm doing comedy, I want to be doing well there where I am, right? Because I think it's quite so usually people will define success in terms of different things. Some will define in terms of material, right? Or money. There is quite a number of ways in which you can get money, as an example, right?
Like getting a snake.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm kidding.
Getting a snake, committing crime,
stealing,
some of them are not legal. Some of them are not moral, but you can get that, and if that's your definition, then you feel successful, right? But for me, I feel successful continuously based on the things that I am doing. If I'm living up to the values and principles that I set for myself, that's when I do feel successful. And that's what doing well means to me. Being able to be the best version of myself I can be.
That's good. So like we talked earlier on about, those people who don't want to be successful because they're afraid of being bewitched. Have you ever found yourself being afraid of, sticking to your own values of success and excellence and working hard and all these things because you were afraid of losing people? When I say losing people, losing friends, losing acquaintances, etc., like people look at, he thinks he's better than us, so we're ever afraid of losing people?
I mean, so for me, I've never really been afraid of losing people. Right?
Listen to that. He didn't care about y'all at all. He didn't care. If he thought you were special to him, you were not.
You're not that special.
Oh man,
No, but the thing is, people will always have opinions. People will always take sides. Will want certain things for you or for themselves, right? But my thing is, if I'm doing things that are aligned to my values and principles, then my people will be there. Right. True. Then those that I lose then are not my people, right? Because then what is the use? What am I gaining with those people if I am with those people, but I am not me.
Yes.
Right. So the most important thing is for me to be authentic, being true to myself. And then the people who will be around me are the people who are there for me because of who I am, not because of who I am pretending to be so that I can be in their space.
Exactly. A lot of people pretend to be somebody else so that they can be accepted by people who don't even like them, which is
weird.
Which is very weird. Which is like, it's sad. It's actually quite sad because I mean, personally, I've been in that space where I'm pretending to be someone else.
Yeah.
And then that person didn't even care about me or what I was doing, and then they left. And now I'm like, now I've wasted like a year of my life. And then I can't get that time back.
You can't get it back. It's gone. If it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone, it's gone. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Like Thomas Tuchel. But anyway.
But Chelsea can get him back.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if that's happening. So just take us through your first book and then your second book. Today is to do.
Today is to do.
Yeah.
So the idea behind Today is to do is that as individuals, right, we need to focus on a day called today, right? Because yesterday is gone and tomorrow is not guaranteed,
100%.
right? And where I see this is that sometimes we look at the big day that is coming, right? And then we forget about the day that is today, right? So an example of that is that maybe you are a student, right? And then you have a heart to give back to the community, but you say, okay, I will give back to the community when I graduate, right? But you don't necessarily have to be a graduate for you to give back to the community.
Okay.
There's something that you can do about that where you are, right? You say maybe you want to I don't know, you want to start taking care to start taking care of your money, right? You say, okay, if I get $1 million, then my financial situation will change, right? That's some of the things that we think as individuals. But you don't need $1 million for you to change your financial behavior. But your behavior that you have today is the one that can affect how you handle even the $1 million that is to come, right? So it's more about, you need to do whatever that you want to do today. And if you want to do something big one day, there's always something you can do about that thing today. Right? So if you want to be a great author, right? Maybe you can be a great author one day. That's one day is one day. That's the Lotto motto, right? one day is one day, right? If you want to be a great author one day, today just write a page, right? What are you doing about it today, right? So it's sort of for me a reminder every day. If I have got something that I say, this is what I want. But the question is, what are you doing about it today? Right? And it helps me because in that way you can put all excuses away. And then focus on the things that are within your control. To say, this is something that I can do today. This is something that is quite manageable. Right? Although I cannot reach 1 million of students, I can be able to help someone apply for varsity, and then they can get to university and they can change their life, 100%. Right? I start changing lives. It doesn't matter whether I'm in varsity or I'm not, but the thing is within my capacity of and within my influence of where I am, what can I start doing? So the idea here is you living your dream. Right? And one of the biggest things that stops us as human beings to live our dreams is procrastination. Right? And I say in the book that procrastination is not only the biggest thief of time, it is a killer of opportunities, it destroys dreams. So you need to do away with that mindset, and usually there's quite a lot of stuff that we believe that make us procrastinate, right? One of the chapters in the book is called "You Are Never Ready." You are never ready. And tell us about it. This idea comes from the fact that usually you think about, okay, let's say public speaking as an example, right? You say, okay, I will start trying to do public speaking when I'm better.
When you're better, okay.
So I can't go now. Like, I suck.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I can't
You're
do.
You're still doing the arms and the eyes and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't do it. I suck, right? But for you to get better, you need to do. Right?
Yeah.
So, which it defeats the whole purpose of you waiting and doing nothing.
Sure.
Because as you wait, things are only getting worse. They are not getting better. Right? Which is another chapter, by the way, which says naturally things get worse always. For things to get better, you need to be working at them. If you just wait, nothing is going to happen, right?
Sure.
You can see it, maybe it's business, and you say, okay, while I'm better at doing this business, when I get better at doing this business, I will do it, right? But then, how do you get better?
If you only nothing.
You only get better by doing.
Sure.
So that's why you need to do today. It doesn't matter whether what you are doing today is bad, is average, or you suck. But by doing the thing, that's how you get better.
Sure. That's we're pressing this a lot. So with this, how young are you now?
I'm not that young anymore. Okay, but I'm young. I'm 28.
You're 28. All right, cool. So 28. So, geez, you've done so much. Geez, like, so then you're 28. I've come across men specifically. I'm going to target men between the ages of 22 and like 29, 20, and that is a very, in my opinion, a very critical time for a man. I'm going to speak from a man's perspective. What do you say from a today's to do perspective to someone who's like 24, 25, they're lost, they don't have a job, they're stuck in addictions, and they don't know how to get out of that? What do you say to a person that's like in that type of situation?
So I agree with you. I think the 20s are quite formative years in your life, right? And for me, my basis has always been one, education. For me, it's non-negotiable, right? Some people are not privileged enough maybe to get formal education, but in whatever way possible, educate yourself, right? If you can read books, nowadays there are podcasts. Listen to these guys. This is
this is a good podcast.
This is a good podcast. Tell others as well to listen.
Time to listen.
So there's a lot of information which is out there, and I think it's quite important for one to be educated, to be informed, to read. I think for me that is the basic thing for one to have, right? Second to that, I think the 20s are quite key in finding yourself. Right? And it's fine for you to not do well. It's fine for you to I don't know, the people listening on audio won't see this, but it's fine for you to fail.
Just fail.
Okay,
air quotes, fail.
It's fine for you to fail, right? But as long as when you fail, analyze every move that you are doing, right? Learn from it, take feedback, right? And for me, I think it's also quite important for young people to redefine what failure means to them, right? I define failure differently.
How do you define failure?
So as an example, I have not failed if I get 20% in a maths test. I have failed if I have given 20% in preparation to the maths
Say that
test.
again. That's Say it again.
I have not failed if I have I got 20% in a maths test, but I have failed if I've given 20% effort in my preparation, right? I have not failed if I'm not driving, right? I have failed if I'm not driven, right? I have not failed.
Say it again. Say it again for the people.
I've not failed if I'm not driving. I have failed if I'm not driven, right? So failure is not what the world gives to me. Or success, right? It's not what the world gives to me, but it's rather what I give to to the world, right? And you are at an age where it's quite important for you to do something and to give. And as you give, sometimes your imagined success might not come immediately, right? Maybe you want to be a millionaire, right? It might not come immediately, right? It might take time, but whatever effort that you put in pursuit of that which you want to achieve is not going to waste. It accumulates, it builds up, right? It works exactly the same way compound interest works, right? Albert Einstein said is the eighth wonder of the universe, right? So you get those small marginal gains. Sometimes you don't see they are accumulating, and they are accumulating, right? And when they accumulate, you might find that your growth starts to change. Instead of it being linear, it becomes exponential, right? Because you might look at where you are now and say, okay, maybe in 2 years' time, I might be this person just based on that a linear progression that you're seeing. But when you are working consistently day in, day out, those marginal gains are leading you to something which leads to exponential growth. So I think it's quite an important time in your life where you don't focus on, be careful not to focus on results. Right. But at least pay your bills, right?
Please pay those bills.
Please pay the bills. Please pay the bills. But don't focus too much on result, right? Whether it's the profit that you're seeing on your company statement, whether it's that car that you have dreamed about, whether it's something that you want to see manifesting, right? If you want to write a book, whether it's that book, whatever it is, it's quite an important time for you to focus on the process of who you are becoming. And invest in that, because the process never fails. Trust in the process.
Trust the process. Trust the process. So tell us about today is to excel.
So
I haven't read this one. I'm gonna read it today when you read this one, and then sure.
So today's to excel is a follow up to today's to do. The holy grail of academic excellence. So this one focuses particularly specifically on academic excellence. All right. So the premise of today's to excel is that there are different groups of students, right? So we've got the first group, right? Who no longer see education as a key to success. Some people say, the doors have been changed.
The doors have been changed.
Corruption, whatever.
What do you mean the doors have been changed?
They say that's what they say on the streets. They say that the doors have been changed, so education is no longer the key because they've changed the doors.
I get it.
Yes.
All right.
So they attribute success now to different things outside of education, right?
Sure.
But research still shows that all things remaining equal, an educated person is more likely to succeed than an uneducated person.
Please
right?
Tell the people out there.
And I mean, one of the metrics that we can use is mainly maybe financial, because that's one of the things that we can measure, right? Financially, people who are educated are on average doing better than people who are not educated. Obviously, there are people who are outliers, wherein without education they are able to do well in life, right? But usually those are outliers, right? But even if you study the outliers, there is a form of education they have. It might just not be the formal education.
It may not be a certificate from a university, but there's something,
right? So that's the first thing I want to. We're trying to shift that. A mindset, right?
Where does that mindset come from? Because I've heard it. I haven't heard that the doors have been changed.
The doors have been changed.
It's the first one I heard it today. But then recently, people are looking at, like you said, about Steve Jobs. Elon Musk has got a formal education, but like they'll point to some Zuckerberg, all those people like, but the thing about Zuckerberg is that, guys, he didn't drop out of just any university. He dropped out of Harvard.
Yeah,
so
he didn't drop out of Rosebank College.
Nothing wrong with Rosebank College, but like two different things.
Yes,
two different things. So then they'll look at all these outliers and say, see, if he didn't get an education, why must I?
Yeah.
Like, where does this mindset come from? Like, do you know?
I mean, I think one of the things to look at is, obviously in South Africa, we live in a country where there's a high level of unemployment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things. So with a high rate of unemployment, you find also graduates being unemployed.
Yeah.
Right? And the thing is, when graduates are unemployed, that's going to get the spotlight. It's going to be magnified. Even graduates are unemployed, right? So for us, there's no way, like, even if you get an education, then you're going to be unemployed. So what's the use, right? And then people forget that even though there are graduates who are unemployed, the percentage of graduates that are unemployed is astronomically lower than those who are uneducated, who are unemployed, right? And also some graduates are unemployed for a certain period. They still have prospects, but at that certain point in time, they are under the category of unemployment, right? An example, I have a sister who spent a lot of time in unemployment as a graduate, right? But now she's working, she's employed, right? And that's the thing, you have got the prospect.
So the prospects are higher.
Yes. If things change, then you are going to get a job, right?
Sure.
And others are, maybe somebody graduates, they spend a year unemployed, but then an opportunity will come and then they get employed. You with your degree, you will just be without a degree or without education, you will just be comparing yourself to someone
who's got that,
who's got that prospect, whereas you don't have that prospect.
So things are a lot harder for you.
Much harder. Much harder.
Let's say things are impossible, but like things are infinitely harder.
And I think also another thing that contributes to this mentality is a lot of income streams that people think they can use. Some of them possible, but then some of them, I mean, you see, I have nothing against trading as an example, right?
I was about to say that. Let
me just say that I have nothing against trading, right? But there are people who are employed formally to be traders, right? And those people are making good money, but it's only a few outliers who will boom out of luck, right? And then just become millionaires out of
nothing,
So even in the trading industry, as an example, if you say, okay, I just want to trade whatever, right? You find that there are more people who are struggling there than people who are actually doing well. That's the thing, right?
True.
And while education is may not be education is a more sensible and a more guaranteed way for you to be able to do well. And when you are educated, even your forex you can do you can do them much better, right? You can't base your entire future on luck. Right? Just a one lotto ticket, right? One day is one day.
They call them it's a tax of the poor.
So you can't base your entire life on luck, right? So there's a interesting statistic that I read that you have higher chances of being struck by a lightning than winning a lottery.
A higher chance of being struck by lightning. Especially if that lightning comes from Venom.
No, it doesn't matter. The lightning can come from anywhere, but as an adult, you are more likely to be struck by a lightning.
So I must stop playing Lotto now. I might as well just stop.
No, you must not stop. But just know what the odds are.
What the odds are,
right?
Sure.
So if you think you can win a lottery, then you must also think it's possible for you to be struck by electricity first.
Especially if it comes from venom. Yeah. So then, like, we've discussed that one bucket of students are saying, okay, look, listen, the doors have been changed. What's the other group of students that you are speaking to here?
So then we have got the second group, right? So the second group think, sure, I believe in education. But they say, okay, there are certain people who are good in school. Right? There are certain people who are born for that thing. I am not one of those, right? And today's To Excel argues that academic excellence is not for the chosen few. It is for the few who have chosen it.
All right, say that again. Say that again for the people.
Academic excellence is not for the chosen few. It is for the few who have chosen it. So this book then goes on explaining to you that you can actually choose academic excellence. You can shift your mindset because you already believe education is the key, right? So now what you need to do is also believe that you have it in you to be able to achieve academic excellence.
Sure. No, that's
so that is the second group of students, right? The third group of students then will be those are at a much higher level who are now they believe they have what it takes, right? But then they are facing challenges, certain challenges with their studies, right? You find a student in university. You are in varsity because you have academic potential.
Yes.
That's the thing. That's fundamentally the thing.
True.
Because you are admitted to that course that you are studying because the university believes that somebody with your high school background can be able to do well and succeed in that particular place. So you have already earned your place to be there, right? But while you are there, you find that you are facing particular challenges and you are still struggling, right?
Sure.
So in the book, then I've explained five causes of failure in varsity. So I won't go deeper into them.
Sure.
But I will just highlight three of the things, right, outside things that we can't control. Obviously, there are some conditions that we cannot control, maybe financials. You have nowhere to sleep. Those are the valid things that are valid. Somebody passes away, all those kind of stuff, right? But the three key things which I've seen that are critical also to success in academics, especially at an institution of higher learning. One, it's an elite mentality, right? And what I mean by that is for you to be able to believe, simply believing that you can. You are already way ahead of everybody else, right? And I say that mindset usually is what sets minds apart. Do that thing. Say it again. Mindset is usually what sets minds apart, right? And usually you see somebody, you think they just have a higher IQ or they're smarter than you, whereas that person just has it in their mind
that this is what they're going to do.
This is what I will do. This is what I can do. And that's one of the things that we sort of address in the book, right? That's the first thing. Then the other thing is the issue of is the issue of habits. Right. For you to do well academically, you need to have good habits. There is a question that students would ask me to say, well, do you need to work hard or do you need to work smart? Right, which is a question that
that's a very good question. What's your answer to that?
For me, I say, okay, I don't really have an answer to that, right? But for me, that question seems like it does not come from a student who has an elite mentality. Because if you have an elite mindset, why do you want to choose? Because if you're asking the question, do you need to work hard or smart?
Yeah.
It's like you want to choose one.
Yeah.
You want to work smart or you want to work hard.
Okay, yeah.
Why not do both?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because essentially for me, working hard is a smart thing to do.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And working smart is a hard thing to do.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So those two things work work together,
Yeah.
right? So you don't have to choose. That's why I say I don't have an answer, right? So you need to do both.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one of the things. And as I've explained earlier in terms of habits, because the thing is, the harder you work, the more you find smarter ways of doing the thing.
Yeah,
right.
True.
You don't just come up with smart ways of doing the thing if you're not working hard. Right. And that's one of the things that I address, especially around habits, because habits are the ones that influence what we do on a daily basis, right? And then the last thing that I speak about is strategy, a winning strategy, right? To say a lot of students are just freestyling. just what works, right? I don't know if you have done that thing, like you're going to write an exam as an example, right? And then you reading a book, a textbook. And then it's 11 p.m. and now you just like going through the book to say, how many?
I've been there. I'm a witness. I've been there.
Yeah. So a lot of students have been there, right?
Yeah.
And what that says is that you don't have a winning strategy.
Yeah.
Because a strategy will tell you what you need to be doing at 11 p.m. before you go to write.
Sure.
And that's definitely not what you
are doing now.
You have to be doing, right? So a winning strategy outlines what the objectives of the course that you are studying are. To say, okay, in this course, this is what is expected. These are the outcomes. These are the best ways to study this, because you cannot study something which requires mathematical ability the same way you will study literature. Those things require a different kind of method of doing it, right? So that's the first thing, right? And also in terms of your time management, it comes from that, right? Because there's a lot of material that I can consume around this topic.
Sure.
But what is the best material for me to consume, given the amount of time that I have? Because I cannot go through everything. And if I freestyle, I might find myself just starting with the most useless material ever. At the end of the day, I have failed. And I go and look and say, but I was studying. Yes, you were studying. But you did not have a winning strategy.
Sure.
So that's also one of the things that I address on the book.
All right, that's good. So so the question that I have for you as a football fan,
that's a nice segue.
It's not even a segue. No. Because today's to do, today's to excel. Now I'm asking the question. First of all, like when Messi won the World Cup, you and I were on WhatsApp. And I'm like saying to Nene, he's definitely the GOAT now. Now he's the GOAT. And you're like, not in my books. I'm like, what does this man have to do to convince you that he's a GOAT? So, because I really just want to get your perspective on why you think Ronaldo's better than Lionel Messi, even though Messi has got a World Cup now. What's your argument for it?
Yeah, Ronaldo is the GOAT.
That's what he said.
Ronaldo is the GOAT.
I just want to say that the opinions of the guests on the show are not those of mine. I'm open to discourse. He thinks Ronaldo's the GOAT. I mean, he has a very strong argument.
So firstly, I think we need to acknowledge that Messi is a great player, right? That's why usually people, when they talk about GOATs, they talk about GOATs instead of a GOAT. So I cannot undermine the influence he has had on the game. I cannot undermine his World Cup. I cannot undermine the impact he has had at Barcelona, right? But Cristiano Ronaldo for me is the GOAT. And fundamentally, there's a number of reasons, right? Reason number one, just looking at player attributes. Not even going into statistics. Right? I think Cristiano Ronaldo is a more complete footballer than Lionel Messi. Yeah. Right foot, left foot, heading, chest, everything, right? Pace, shot, power, and everything. So the only thing is two things that Messi has over Ronaldo in terms of pure footballing ability. And that's dribbling and passing.
What about playmaking?
That playmaking is passing.
Okay, right? Okay. So what you mean? Okay,
yeah. Sure, so those are the two fundamental attributes, right? And what makes Messi look great is because he is more aesthetically pleasing, especially with the dribble.
Oh, my
like
God,
you see him going like, right, which is great. Sure. He does that, right? But for me, fundamentally in terms of footballing, those are the two aspects where it's technically better than Ronaldo. Yeah. But when it comes to the other aspects of playing football,
you say
Ronaldo is much better, right? Yeah. And then you also look in terms of versatility, right? So when I look at the systems that Messi has played in, Messi does well when he's given a free role and the team around him has a structure, sort of to protect him, but you cannot say protect him. But if you look at the teams, he played for Pep most of the times in Barcelona. That's when he was winning your Champions League, right? After Pep was gone, he did not win any. He won one with Luis Enrique, but he was not dominating as much as he used to. And then you went to PSG, you got Pochettino, right? You know with what system does Poche have?
What system does he play? She's like
exactly. So he went there. He struggled. Right. So I think in terms of versatility and adaptability, right? So Ronaldo has proved that, one, in terms of the field of play, he started at Manchester United. Okay, I don't know about his Lisbon. He did, but
no one knows. Like, I don't know.
Actually, no one cares. But Manchester United, he played right wing in a 4-4-2. He went to Madrid, played left wing, played forward, and at all positions, he was playing elite. He played under different managers, and under all the managers, he was just performing, right? So that's the kind of versatility that he had.
Well, even then, he was
performing. He was the top goal scorer for Manchester United. And also that versatility is also in terms of his mentality and ability to adapt to different situations.
Sure.
Because he has won it in England. He has won it in Spain. He has won it in Italy, right? And he has kept going for such a long period of time, right? For me, that's GOAT material.
That
looking also in terms of trophies, right? I think in terms of count, Messi has got more trophies
than 43, 44, somewhere there.
I'm not sure about Ronaldo's count in terms of trophies, right? But in terms of the contribution, Ronaldo has such a great contribution to the teams that he has played in, particularly in terms of getting those trophies. And head to head, right? So look at when Ronaldo went to Real Madrid. Barcelona was dominating, right? There was a time where Messi had like 4 or 5 Ballon d'Ors before Ronaldo only won one, right? But that guy came.
Like, he changed things,
So
the 2013 Ballon d'Or was a robbery.
No, it was not a robbery.
It was a robbery.
No, we can't talk about Ballon d'Or robbery when there's a 2023 one. Okay, let's not talk about Ballon d'Or.
That was not a robbery. He deserved it.
For a World Cup that happened in 2022. Come on, guys. No.
When they gave Messi FIFA the best, now I'm like, no, something that was robbery. That was robbery. But no, carry on.
So for me, there were instances where Messi was aging Cristiano Ronaldo, right? And I can say maybe if you look at around 2011, 2010, Messi was aging.
He was like 4 at that time.
But then Ronaldo came back, and then he started chasing. And then I think most of the times they were sort of on par. In terms of their abilities, right? That's why most of the people take them as the two GOATs, right? But for me, I think Ronaldo is the guy. You look at the goals. Messi has a beautiful goal catalog, but also look at Ronaldo's goal catalog.
Look at that bicycle kick against Juventus.
He's got a bicycle kick. He's got a free kick against Arsenal from I don't know how many yards out.
I think it was Tottenham, like from like the far right.
From the far right. So
it's like 30
impossible,
yards, like what?
Impossible things to do, right? So. Yeah, for me, I think what we need to appreciate firstly is that both these players are just phenomenal. And we happen to have like player choices to say this is the guy, this is the other one, right? I didn't come here to put Messi down.
No,
but
of course not.
On the arguments in the street, there are some things that I do say about Messi just to put him down. But
we're not gonna. I'm trying to get him on the show. Let's not do that.
I won't put Messi down. But Cristiano Ronaldo, for me, in terms of his complete package, phenomenal footballer.
No, 100%. That's a very fair argument. And I can agree with all of your points. My take on Messi is because I just like how he plays the game and what he's done for football. And I think for me, what cemented it was the World Cup win for me, from my perspective. And I think Ronaldo was unfortunate to have the Portugal teams that he did. Because if he played for Spain, if he played for Argentina, he'd probably have like 2-3.
He played for France.
If he played for France, So like sometimes it's that thing.
It's unfortunate.
So let's say today they fire Mauricio Pochettino. They fire him today, and then they put you in charge. How are you going to fix this atrocity of a team that they call Chelsea? When Abramovich left, I was like, we're going to turn into Arsenal. That's what's going to happen. We're going to turn to... So how do we fix Chelsea Football Club, guy?
I was actually quite confident when the new ownership started, right? But right now...
Do the right thing.
But actually, they say is the other guy, not Boyle.
His partner.
Baghdad, I think that's his name. I'm not sure. So for me, I think and I'm saying this in retrospect, right? One of the biggest problems that they did was changing everything too quickly.
Okay.
Explain. And because if you look at our Champions League winning squad, the only players that we left with right now is Rhys James in the hospital. You have Ben Chilwell chilling in the hospital as well. And then you have got Thiago Silva, old age home.
But he's still doing quite well for a 40-year-old, 40-year-old.
Yeah, he's doing well for a 40-year-old. I mean, I can't take that away from him. But those are the three players that you have.
Everyone
right?
else
From a Champions League winning team. Just imagine. So if you
that wasn't that long ago. That was like 2021, bro.
3 years ago. So what the ownership did, they could have done that to Crystal Palace. For God's sake, they could have bought Crystal Palace and then just keep three of their players, right? And then buy everyone else. Then why buy Chelsea when you're going to change everything and start from scratch where there's already fundamentals and the winning core that was there. So for me, I think that is the biggest mistake that they did, right? And I don't think a new coach is going to fix Chelsea now. But then Poch is useless. Okay.
Is it the fact that is it Poch useless, or is it the players, or I'm trying to figure out what is actually wrong, because if you look at the players, they're not all bad. You can't tell me that they're all bad. Is it the system? Is it the way they're coaching? Is it the mentality? Because I mean, Chris is like always out and Kuku's out. I mean, we've got like your Enzo, we've got Cole Palmer, we've got Nicholas Jackson, Sanchez sold us out in that Arsenal match. We just gave the ball away. But like, what is the actual problem? Like,
I think, like I said, so usually when people look at problem or success, they look at one factor.
Yeah, so
right?
it's like a multiple.
Yeah, it's a multiple, right?
Yeah.
Posh has his crimes, right? He has his crimes.
Does Posh have? Yeah?
He has his crimes. I will get into that,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
But the ownership has their crimes as well, right? And then there's also an unfortunate thing with injuries, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also starting to believe that maybe it's not just being unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, if people are just injured all the times,
how are the training?
yeah,
What's the diet?
What's going on with the training? What's going on with the medical department, right? So I think that is also one area. So for me, it's mostly those, right?
Yeah.
So the ownership, like I said, with getting rid of the core and then just bringing new players, you are undermining that a football club, just like any company, has got a culture. And when people come, somebody's coming from Argentina, you're coming to a new place, new environment. You need to learn the language, you need to learn the food, you're learning everything, right? And you don't have experienced heads around you to say this is how you're doing the thing. So you coming in as a new guy and you're already expected to take leadership role. So take Enzo Fernandez as an example. Take Caicedo, right? They are in the spotlight because when they come in, they just there on the they are expected to be the Chelsea's main guy, right? Tell me which team in the world has a guy who is just a new arrival and is expected to be the main guy.
Jude
right?
Bellingham.
He is the main guy, but when he came, he was not expected to be the main guy.
True,
they had Vinicius Jr. They had Rodrigo. They had Modric. They have Cruz. Right? For him to be the main guy, he had to work and prove that he is the main guy. He did not come with the expectation. So if Bellingham was not doing well, there will be Vinicius. Nobody will be saying, Bellingham is a flop. Because now he has people around him that have created a good environment for him.
True.
But for Chelsea, all the players that are good that we bought, like Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, they are expected to immediately perform.
Sure.
And there is no room for error for them. And for me, I think you can't blame the players for that.
No, you can't.
The guys are young, right? And I quite like the squad. Most of the guys, I think they've got good potential. I quite love the squad, but then they are not put in the right environment to succeed.
So what's the right environment for them to succeed?
So, like I said, having experienced heads around, the change was too quick. Too quick. Yeah, everything happened too quick. But I think they will grow. It's just that as Chelsea fans, we are not used to
whatever it is. To
what's happening. We're used to winning. We want a trophy every year.
How did we lose to Liverpool? Like how did
That's why I say Poch has his crimes. Poch has his crimes.
What was his crime there? What was
So on the Liverpool game, I think if you watch the second half, we outplayed Liverpool, right? And we couldn't score, which you can't blame Poch for that. It's the players. But we go to extra time. Right? Extra time, Chelsea is playing for penalties.
They should be playing for the win.
Liverpool is introducing young players. I understand the context is that, okay, Chelsea, the players that we already have are already young. Right? But what Liverpool did in extra time, they introduced fresh legs.
We didn't do that.
We didn't do that because Poch doesn't trust, for whatever reason, the players who were in the bench. He kept on playing.
That is so sad.
He kept on playing. I think Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, they played 120 minutes of football, right? And then you expecting them to run against those Liverpool young boys, right? So it's on his hands. He had to do something. He had the whole week to condition the team to prepare for that game against Liverpool. I mean,
it was a flop.
I think he messed up there, right? And Liverpool take nothing away from them. I mean, they have a good squad. They are top of the league right now. They have an amazing coach. Even though they had injuries, we also had injuries. But when we are playing the game, it's not about injuries of or whatever. It's Chelsea versus Liverpool.
That's it.
And that's the final.
Yeah.
And what we need from a coach as Chelsea, we used to a coach who has a winning mentality. Facts. We are here to win.
Yeah.
We not.
He was that person at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was posh.
Yeah, that was posh. I mean, that final was there for the taking. We should have gone all out
for it. Yeah. So at least you can like have some redeeming quality.
Because
got an EFL, you know.
If you even listen to him right now, he's still talking about the fact that okay, but we made it to the finals.
No,
come on, it's not good enough. We need to win.
Yeah.
So I think from a mentality point of view, Posh is quite struggling with the job at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But also from a tactical point of view, I don't know if we can dive into some tactics on this podcast.
Just a few. We've got about like you can take 2 minutes to just to go through it. Yeah.
So as an example, he plays players out of position. Right. You see a lot of the times Colwill was playing left back. He's a centre back, right? He's not playing players in their best position.
Sure.
And then one of the issues also that he has with the players, he is torn between styles. You want to play an aggressive high press, but he has got Thiago Silva, who is leading the back line. And Thiago Silva is not fast.
He's not.
Right? So you need to decide what kind of player you want to be. So what happens is that you have Thiago Silva now at the back, players pressing aggressively in the front, and then for some reason he also pushes Enzo forward. You left with Caicedo in the middle. And then people see Caicedo with 3 players around him. They say, this guy is a flop. But what do you expect him to do with that gap in the middle?
Oh my gosh, yes. But anyway, hopefully we will get back to the glory days of like 3 years ago.
Hopefully, man. I've been looking to vent about Chelsea. It's been on my chest.
It's been on your chest, but like Chelsea too will die, bro. Okay? KBFF, keep the blue flag flying high.
Win, lose or die.
Win, lose or die. Chelsea, Chelsea all the way. That's the thing. So we're almost reaching the conclusion. So where can people get a hold of you? Where can people connect with you? Where can people get your books?
So you can find me on most social media platforms.
Sure.
So Facebook, it's Ntsundeni Ndou. Instagram at Ntsundeni Ndou. X at Ntsundeni Reach. And TikTok at Ntsundeni Ndou. Where else? I've also have YouTube. So on YouTube it's also Ntsundeni Ndou. I'm posting some of the comedy jokes that I've been doing. So if you want a good laugh, then you can just go to my YouTube.
And then also he's the very first comedian I've had on the show. Podcast's been going on for 4 years. He's the first comedian that's on the show.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So well done.
So excited to be here.
So before Trevor Noah gets you, I'm like, sorry, you're late. Trevor, you're late.
Ntsundeni was here first.
Ntsundeni was here first. 100%. So then do you have one question? Allow the liberty of a guest to ask me a question on the show.
Okay.
We'll keep it as short as brief as possible. But like, what question would you have for me personally that I can answer?
Oh, okay. I came not prepared for that.
I normally don't tell people that.
So one question for you. What would you say to a 15-year-old you?
Yo, a 15-year-old me. Yo. That girl's not worth it.
Good advice.
Good advice. The 15-year-old me, geez, like he was sure of himself, but also insecure. But what I'd say to the 15-year-old me is to really trust your gut instinct and keep going on the path that you're going, and don't care what other people are saying, even if they're your family, even if they're your friends, because there's so many things that I started getting involved in when I was 15. Some people, my peers, they were smoking weed, they were partying a lot. They didn't take the academics seriously, and I let that sort of like hold me back. I didn't get involved in those things, but it was that entire thing I was telling you about. I'm afraid to
lose people.
To lose people. So I'd say don't care about losing people, because when I was 15, I was very clear. I want to be a speaker. I want to be an author. I want to travel the world. I want to connect with people and touch people. So for me, to 15,
that's so beautiful. You found your thing quite quite early.
I found the thing quite early because I started keeping a journal when I was 13. And I started writing down. I'd have a dream and write it down, and I'd write prayers to God. And then when I was 15, I'm like, okay, so this is what I want. Because you see the posters on my wall behind me. It's like a vision of things I want to achieve. All of those were done by the time I was 18. So when I was 15, I already knew this is what I want. But then the things I would hold myself back and not go full on because of being afraid to lose people. So that's why I tell the 15-year-old me, just you're on the right path and just go full throttle. So
go for it.
Yeah, go for it 100%.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
No one's ever asked me that question. Yeah. That's why I could keep this on the show. And so Ntsundeni, thank you very much for making your time. I know this has been over a year in the making.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of you and everything that you've done.
Thank you.
Everything that you're doing. Yeah. You're a good role model for my nephews and nieces and people that I know. It's a pleasure to have you. And also the first book that I wrote, Inspired Success, he was one of the people that wrote an endorsement for it. So you must know the name. So guys, that is us on the show, the NJ podcast. Remember that success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. That means you're going after what you've always wanted to because it's aligned with the highest values. So go after what you want and don't let anybody stop you. And remember, today is to excel. Listen to this podcast over and over again to catch all those gems and those bars that Ntsundeni was dropping. And we will see you on the next episode. Thank you very much, my guy.
Thank you.
Thank you.